All right, guys. Bright Lights Beyond is back again with our last interview of the season. Not our last episode, don't worry, but our last interview. Hard to believe. It's been such a fun ride. Today, we are talking with Patti Negri. The name might sound super familiar. She's been on a lot of our TV screens, computer screens, etc. The Good Witch of Hollywood. Patti is a psychic medium and good witch, best known for her recurring role on Discovery Channel's top-rated series, Ghost Adventures. One of her episodes was part of the Discovery Channel streaming service Launch. Her wildly popular television and streaming series appearances have garnered over 1 billion views. Crazy. The Parapod Awards recognize Patti as Best TV Psychic 2023 and Best Psychic Podcast 2024. Patti is the international best-selling author of Old World Magic for the Modern World, Tips, Tricks, and Techniques to Balance, Empower, and Create a Life You Love. Patti was voted #1 psychic, medium, trance medium, tarot reader, and witch/magical practitioner in the world in the internationally recognized competition by Times Square Press. Her body of work includes appearances on such shows as MasterChef, where all my MasterChef watchers, America's Got Talent. Patti hosts her own podcast, The Witching Hour, and can be heard on nationally syndicated radio with Adam Carolla, Jason Ellis, Minko Muller, and Coast to Coast with George Norrie. Patti has collaborated with some of today's hottest creators and influencers like Lily Singh, Lord DIY, Good Mythical Morning, etc. She has graced numerous magazine covers, contributed to over 20 books, and conducted seances on radio, film, and TV, working with legends like Emma Stone, Martin Sheen, and Gregory Hines. Needless to say, Patti is super impressive. We are so honored and excited to have her on the show. So let's go ahead and get into it. Patti, if you'd like to introduce yourself and tell us a little bit about how you got into this and like where you come from, your background, we'd love to hear that.
Sure. My name's Patti Negri. I am a psychic. I am a medium. I am a witch. I use the term good witch, but I'm a big fan of Wizard of Oz because I do just work positive magic because you can get everything you want from positive magic. Why would you do negative? I've been probably best known that I've just hit 10 years on Ghost Adventures. Basically, 2 episodes a year for 10 years. I think I've just at 20 episodes, which it's always fun. But the last, I don't know, 6 or 7 years, also working with a lot of YouTubers like Elton Castell, just work with Sam and Coldy, FaZe Rug, Kelsey Davy. So it's fun. I like the old school, new school, and everything in there. This is my life. This is what I do. I work with clients. I have a streaming network called Paraflix. I have a school called University Magicas. I write books. I have a new book out called Dollcraft. But I think what I really am here to do is just inspire people and remind them how amazing humans are, whether it's doing a cool TV show or a silly TV show, or I'm speaking at conventions or doing or teaching workshops. It's reminding people how cool they are.
I love that so much. Before we get into the questions that we sent you, I would love to know how you got started in this. Like what brought you to this type of work?
Kicking and screaming all the way. I mean, I was gifted since I was a kid. I was talking to spirits since I was before kindergarten. I've been doing seances and knew how to do them since I was 7 or 8, but I kept it very super private. I just did everything else. I was an actor, I was a dancer. When I got too old for Hollywood, I became a producer and I ran a very corporate production company. I'm like, dang, these people cannot know that, one, I talk to dead people, and two, I dance around, fires in a cloak. I'll just keep that my private life, though it was a big private life. But in 2008, the big corporate crash came. And again, I'm in the entertainment industry, always have been. And I remember somebody saying, "Oh, Patti, we need you to do one of your seances on a reality show." I'm like, "Nope. Sorry, my private life. Thank you. I appreciate the ask, but nope." And at the same time, it's that big corporate crash. All my shows, I was producing international shows worldwide, very corporate, and they kind of crashed and burned. Corporate entertainment became a dirty word. I'm like, no. And I'm looking at my empty calendar. I'm like, no, but well, what's the name of the show? And literally, she was somebody I know, and she goes, well, it's called Mobile Home Disaster, and it's on country music television. And I'm like, who would watch that? I don't know anybody who'd watch a show called Mobile Home Disaster on country music television. Well, maybe I could do it. It's a gig. Okay, just this once. It was the most fulfilling, fun day I'd had since I could remember, you guys. I got to help this human little girl that everybody thought was crazy because she was drawing portals on the ceiling of her motorhome. I'm like, "No, no, there are portals on the ceiling of her motorhome." We got to help a spirit cross over, which was kind of stuck there, and that was amazing. And equally, best of all, I got to, like, open the mind of the Southern Bible Belt cast and crew that this isn't dark and this isn't evil and this isn't negative and it's real and it's part of life. And I'm like, this was the best day ever, but I'm never gonna do it again. So it aired a couple months later, and I'm like, this is good. I certainly know what I'm doing on camera. I'm certainly legit, but never again. My very first call the next morning was from my biggest corporate client. Hi, Patty. Hi. I saw you on television last night. I'm like, oh, and I'm thinking, oh my God, I'm never going to work again. Yeah. I didn't know you were into the paranormal. And I'm like, yeah, thinking my life is over. And she's like, I love the paranormal. And she proceeded to tell me her first ghost story in her spirit. And I'm like, what am I doing? I'm out of the closet. I'm out of the broom closet. I'm out of the psychic medium closet. I'm out of the paranormal closet. And I haven't looked back. I mean, this world just took over and it's so much more fulfilling. Again, it was great empowering people because you're doing a show for the HR department of Microsoft or teaching ethics to oil men, but this is so much more fun. I'm on paranormal investigations. I'm teaching. I'm doing college tours. It's fun.
I love that, and I really resonated with what you said about, like, opening people's minds who may not be exposed to this kind of stuff and understanding this stuff. That's a lot of a big part of why we started the podcast, why we continue it, and this season, like I mentioned when I first reached out, we kind of wanted to focus on something, maybe different from our past seasons, but that is kind of a universal feeling, and that's love. We're focusing on, the chemicals of love, love as magic, and kind of the process of that both in this realm and beyond. And so I would love to know, as a psychic medium, as a witch, when you hear the phrase, chemicals of love or love as magic, can you speak to kind of what that means to you?
Yeah, of course. I love the idea of chemistry because, from my perspective, chemistry is really just the physical expression of something much bigger. It is much bigger. Yes, you get your oxytocin, your dopamine, your serotonin, and how that's how the body translates love. But spiritually, magically, I see love as it's a frequency, it's a vibration, it's a recognition, it's the most highest vibration there is. I mean, any belief says all there is love. Love heals, love cures. The body experiences it chemically, but the soul experiences it energetically. It's great. It is. As a medium, I see that love, and that love doesn't stop with the nervous system. It travels beyond the body and out and into the world and into everything. So it's both biology, yes, serotonin, and eternity for that matter. And they don't cancel each other out. They work together. Science will explain it one way, religion or spirituality will spin it one way. Our heart, they're coming up that we actually have thinking cells in our human heart. I talk a lot because I always teach mediums that left logical brain. We need that. Yes, stop at red lights. Do it. The right intuitive brain. We need, my intuition is telling me to call home. But when my heart tells me this, your heart doesn't isn't filtered through your fear, your upbringing, your experience of life. It's the purest. So if you can combine those together, science, it'll explain how it feels in the body, and spirit explains why it'll never leave.
That is so beautiful and really true. I've heard the saying that like love is like one of the forms of magic that we can feel on this earth, and I really believe that because I do think that love is more than just a chemical. It's like something spiritual. For you, what was the first time that you was confirmed for you that you could connect with loved ones on the other side?
I thought everybody could do it. Really, I was this kid and I had these friends and I just thought it was completely normal, completely normal. And again, like I said, I was 7 or 8 and I just was obsessed. I wanted to do a séance. Didn't exactly know how. Went in my little suburban Los Angeles home. It was middle of the day, went in the hall where there was no windows, put towels under the doors, and then I realized I really didn't know any dead people, so Marilyn Monroe, John Kennedy, anybody I could think of that was dead, and I was with my best friend, Sherry Jones, and sitting, cross-legged on the floor, and the hall filled with orbs and lights and sounds, and as we were running out screaming, I was actually jumping up and down going, "This is real and this is controllable. I called this in. This is real." So, from that, I became a seeker and just really studying religion, philosophy, science, occult science, metaphysics, and taking it all down to what it is within all that is energy, and love is the highest vibration of energy.
Absolutely. I love hearing origin stories like that. Yours, I have to say, is super unique and what a like an incredible experience at such a young age to like not be able to have maybe the vocabulary to articulate what's going on, but to understand in your soul and recognize that this is something otherworldly yet feels so familiar in a way. And just to kind of, expand on the intersection of love and death, which we a lot of times view as so opposing, but sometimes they are so intertwined. And so, when someone has lost a loved one and they're grieving, love can both feel like comfort and it can also feel like pain. And so, I would love to know from your perspective, how do you describe what grief is spiritually and emotionally?
And again, and it's love and grief and pain. To me, what I think grief isn't the absence of love, it's love with nowhere to land. I love this, I love my mother, I love my father, I love my spouse, I love my kitten, whatever, but there's not a physical place for it to land. And emotionally, I think it's like the nervous system trying to reorient after loss. Like, where was this thing that I love, this person that I love? I think it's the soul learning a new way to relate. And we have to go through this transition. Because grief isn't linear. It's not going to go like this. It's not something you're going to get over. You go through because love just doesn't disappear. It just changes its form. I think grief is learning a new language for it. And again, that's why grief hurts, I guess, because love is real. And if love weren't real, it wouldn't hurt so much.
That's so true. When you're dealing with, clients that come to you with wanting to speak to people on the other side, like how do you deal with that? And like what is something that you've heard from the other side and just your clients as well? Just like what is the biggest takeaway people are either looking for, what they're given, but like how do you deal with that as a person?
Number 1, they wanna know that their loved ones are okay. With mom okay? Is grandpa okay? That is number 1. They wanna know they're okay. And then what the spirits want for them to stop blaming themselves. We hold on to this weird guilt, like, I had a fight with grandma before she passed on, or I couldn't make the funeral, I was stuck in a whatever that is. The loved ones don't care. They don't look at that last little thing of passing over, I wasn't they look at the whole arc of a relationship. So, they have a lot of, "Did I do enough? Did I do enough?" And Spirit's like, "Yeah, we know, we love you." So it's about forgiveness that the living person wants to do, and even when it isn't asked for. They wanna know their grandma's okay because they don't know what they did along the way. And again, also there's a lot of unfinished business. It's usually an emotion unfinished, again, holding on to the grief or the guilt. Not unfinished tasks, but I've literally beautiful young guy died, whatever his disease was, and leaving a young wife and a beautiful, like, 4-year-old. They sat there with his iPhone, and they didn't know the code, and they knew there was, like, 1,000 pictures on there. Didn't know the code, she tried everything she could think of. The spirit gave me the iPhone code so they could literally get that 1,000 pictures and videos and everything off. That's practical, that's tangible, like, where's the will kinda thing. Then the message I think from the loved ones is, like, go on, keep living. I'm really big on teaching people about dumb suppers. To me, wakes are great, funerals are great, celebration of lives are great, but a dumb supper, a backwards dinner where you cut those cords, let them become it's a backwards dinner if anybody doesn't know what it is. You could do it 40 days after someone dies or anytime after. The 40 days is the transition from here to there. It's actually every culture uses it, and it's biblical. Noah 40 days, Moses 40 days, Jesus 40 days, flood. but it's from here to there. It's planetary. But after that 40 days, have a dinner for whoever. Do it backwards, which is fun. You have to have dessert and then your main course, and then you end up in the soup and salad course. Somewhere during the dinner, everybody goes silent, and your loved ones will communicate with each of you to your own understanding level, to your own ability. And then at the end of the dinner, though, is really say goodbye to this fleshly body. That's what we hold on to. We have to literally cut those cords. In people, living people, the cords are heart to heart. Literal, we use the terminology, cut the cords, no strings attached, it's heart to heart. When someone passes up, the meat suit is the only thing that dies, not the soul, not the spirit. That science has proven that nothing dies. It just transitions, but the meat suit goes away. So if we're holding on to this, the grandma plastic, that has to be clipped. Now it has to be a third eye cord. It's grandpa, grandma is your spirit grandma, not your deceased meat suit grandma. And then you can have a better relationship with them. It helps the grieving let it, you can have a real spirit relationship with them versus the meat suit they don't have. And it's so beautiful. And anybody can do it. You know, you could be dead 40 years and still do it if you are holding on to that physical body. At the end of the dinner, you just say goodbye to that, and it helps the spirit too.
No, I love that tradition, and I feel like it's definitely something that know that I will take away, from this conversation of thinking of death in a new light. And kind of along those lines, Patty, you've communicated it, but I would just love to hear, your answer to this question of how does love change after death? You described grief as a place, love with nowhere to go. And I'm just curious, when you talk to loved ones on the other side versus, here, does love actually, feel different on the other side than it does in this realm? Would love to know your thoughts on that.
I think so. Love, again, love doesn't end. I think it expands and it's bigger. It's not just I love you. I'm holding on to you. On this side, I think love is mixed with fear, attachment, ego, and time. Time and space. That's the one thing they don't have on the other side. On the other side, it feels clearer. Again, I don't care that you didn't make my funeral. It's clearer, it's less tangled because we've got our insecurities, our inadequacies, and all those things that, and on the other side, they, not that they're a different person, they're the same person, but they do get a higher perspective, a higher point of view of things. So it's less conditional, it's more constant. I just love you. That's it. The emotional charge can soften then, and therefore the connection strengthens. That's why what the dumb supper will do or anything like that. Here, I think it's just filtered through our human experience, and our human experience is this weird, crazy journey along the way, and there it's just the pure signal, it's just pure vibration, the pure energy.
I'm always so curious, like, what the other side looks like. Do you as a medium, like, know what that looks like, or is it different to everyone, or is it, like, just light and love, or I don't know.
Well, everybody has different gifts, and again, if it's bound to energy, and we have our different clairvoyant, clairsentient, claircognizant. You could see somebody with your outside eyes. Oh, wow. Yeah, that looks like grandpa, tall man wearing a baseball cap. Or you could just see it with your third eye inside. I'm picturing grandpa. You could just know that it's grandpa. You're not seeing it all. You could feel it. You could smell it. You could taste it along the way. I have, since I've been doing it from so young, and spirit shows itself different too. Sometimes it's literally I'm seeing them, and people at the seance table at me, they're seeing the shadow figure or the orb right there. And sometimes it's all in here. Sometimes it is. They're just gonna be a mist. They're gonna just be an orb. And also, I think they could shapeshift a bit. Like if somebody I enjoyed becoming grandma or grandpa, they're gonna show themselves as grandma or grandpa. Like aging sucks. I didn't like getting old, so they're gonna show themselves when in their 30s, maybe in their prime. There's grandma, the beehive hairdo she didn't have for 30 years because they can, because they can.
No, that's super interesting. Like, obviously, throughout life, we take so many different physical forms. So it's always, interesting of like thinking, what would my loved one, appear as if I got the chance to see them? Or what would I appear as? Maybe it's my best version of myself, or maybe it's the self like I felt most comfortable in, like, lounging around and whatnot. So
I was gonna say, since, for the past couple seasons, our podcast is based around near death experiences. And oftentimes, when people do have a near death experience, they do see loved ones who have passed over and come back, and they're kind of guiding them. I think that that's really beautiful. And it's something that's always been, I don't know, just important for people to hear because, like, they are always around us. And I think that sometimes in the culture we live in, it's hard to talk about them sometimes, so we don't want to think about them as like, being gone so we don't think about them at all. But what do you believe is like lessons that death teaches us about how to love and live on life while we're here? And especially like in near death experiences, why do you think loved ones come back to like help those people that are in need?
Again, they can in a sense, some come become guardian angels or one of their spirit guides. And you're right, it's our modern society, our Western modern non-mystical, non-magical, complete left brain logical focus. There's not room. So many cultures celebrate Dia de los Muertos. You have an ancestor altar. So many. Here's all the pictures of grandma and grandpa, and here we know there's a picture of grandpa over there, but we don't know grandma's gone. We don't celebrate that. I think some of the things that death teaches us is to love now, speak now, maybe forgive sooner. We waste so much time just assuming things like they're there and doing never. So don't save it for the eulogy. Don't save it to tell grandma how much you love them when she's in a box next to you or the little canister. I think that presence matters more than perfection. We wait until, oh, I'm going to do this and I'm going to give my heart to whatever. And I think that it doesn't require grand gestures. Just be authentic. Authenticity is that's love, authenticity. This is how I'm feeling. This is what I would. So say the thing you want to say, make that phone call, hug a little 3 seconds longer. It's really good for those chemicals we were talking about anyway. So yeah, the afterlife just keeps reminding us that love is the point. Love is always the point.
it really resonated with me when you said like love is authenticity, because and Lexi would agree, like, we're both very authentic people in how we show up in different relationships, like, with each other, with our loved ones, etcetera. So I think that, like, is, like, the motto of the whole season of just love is authenticity and being who you are around the people you love. And so we've covered, so much during this interview, all of which has been amazing and really, really insightful, I know, for me and for our listeners. So, Patty, if there, is one thing you want our listeners to walk away from this conversation with, whether it's something they can incorporate in their daily lives or just something you want them to remember.
I think love doesn't die, I think, and grief, which we're gonna experience, doesn't mean you're broken. It means you truly love deeply, and love will just continue to work with you, not against you, never against you. I think that nothing real is ever lost. That's it. Grandma's not lost.
I really love that, and, as you were speaking, just kind of it's so true, like, I think that as me and Andy have explored themes of death and love and the spiritual veil, we start to realize that, like, all of these things are way more around us than the Western world, our society, the social media of it all, which is good and bad, but, like, I really love it, and I think it's so important that our listeners hear this, and we're so lucky that you got to come and speak to us. Is there anything that you'd like to promote or anywhere our listeners can come and find you and follow you?
Yes, I'm on all the social medias. Please, there's a few fakes. I'm verified everywhere except for TikTok. Don't know why. Patti Negri Psychic Medium on Facebook, Patti.Negri on Instagram, Patti Negri on X, Twitter, Threads, LinkedIn, and all that. I think, but go to my website. That's where pattinegri.com. It's a plethora of endless YouTubes of lessons and this and do that, whatever you want to do. Unless you can get to my schedule because I tour all the time. I 35 I'm going to be in Arizona, I'm going to be in Maine, I'm going to be in Massachusetts. Here, come to a con, come to a workshop, come to whatever. You can get my new book, Doll Craft. I've been doing haunted doll tours. I have a new book combining my witchy world and my paranormal world called Dollcraft, half about haunted dolls and half about magical puppets. My old classic book, Old World Magic. So yeah, go to my website and from there you'll get to the right social media and get sign up for my newsletter. I send lots of discounts and fun things and that's it.
Awesome. Thank you so much. Patty, this was awesome, and we will be sure to link all of those things, and my sister is a big fan, so she will be getting your new book for Christmas, so spoiler.